Good evening, everyone. Hey, Ankit. What Ankit says, आज मचेगा बवाल जब एल सर सॉल्व करेंगे LRDI के सवाल. वाह क्या जुमला है. Good evening, Piyush, and everybody else who is watching it. Is my screen visible? Just confirm that once. Hey, everyone. All right. So, agenda for today's session is that we'll be doing DI tools, which is very important for entire DI, data interpretation. Okay. And then there will be some puzzles. So these puzzles are basically meant for opening your mind to understand what actually, logical reasoning and data interpretation wants from you. So it's a kind of a class which gives you the which gives you the entire, what do you call, paraphernalia for solving DI quickly, and then going into that, developing that logical acumen, okay, for solving sets. All right, so that is the entire agenda of the session. I hope you understand that. And once we start, you'll be able to get it clearly. Hey, Nikhil, always live? No, I just came live. Okay, so DI tools. Now, DI tools, when I say tools, there are multiple tools like analysis, observation, all that stuff we'll be doing in proper DI class. But here the tools will be all mathematical, which are required for solving things quickly. So let's go one by one. First is percentage to ratios and vice versa. All right. So we'll be discussing all the ratios from 1 by 1 to 1 by 20 and their percentage equivalent. And in case there is some percentage, it will be transformed into ratios. Logical reasoning and data interpretation. Nikhil. Okay. Second tool will be weighted averages. Weighted averages. So you know what average is and weighted average. We'll be discussing that. The second tool. Third will be the approximations. This is very important. So normally what happens in any DI set, when you get the options, they are not very close. Sometimes they can be like 18.3% or 17.5%. They're very close. So you cannot really guess. Okay, you need the calculator. Calculators are allowed. But if there is some way that you, just by looking at the numbers, you can just calculate that, the approximate value, that is going to help you a lot. Especially if the options are scattered wide apart. So something is 17%, then 19%, so we'll be able to get that by approximations. All right, that is the third tool. Just a moment. All right. Now, the fourth tool that we'll be discussing today is see, analysis and observation is one thing. So that is, I would say, based on that, there is a mathematical tool, which is an observation, that is the slope. So when I say slope, so when you have a line graph, especially in line graphs, there is going to be no, not using iteration. Approximation is like a fraction will be given to you, and you will evaluate the fraction just by looking at it. And slope of when there are line graphs. So basically, DI sets can have line graphs, data in terms of lines. So based on these lines, we can just look at the slope and try to find the answer. So these four tools are what we'll be discussing under DI tools. Okay, I'll be discussing each of the tools, and I'll be just giving some unsolved examples so that you understand it better. And after that, it will be logical reasoning puzzles. So I'll be giving you 10 puzzles and we'll be solving that. All those puzzles are basically meant to open your mind. Clear? So let's go one by one. Is that cool? All of you got that? So first thing first, and if you're making the notes, make it this way. So now percentage and ratios. Okay. So there will be some specific ratios which we'll be learning here. So first is 1 by 1. This is 100%. That like it's kind of obvious. 1 on 1 is like 1 over everything. That is 100%. 1 by 2 is 50%. That is simple, right? All of us know that. Half is 50%. Then we have 1 by 3. This will be equal to 33.33%. In fact, 33.33% is like it's 3 keeps on repeating. So I'll put a bar over it. This bar basically means that 3 keeps on repeating. 1 by 4 is 25%. By the way, I also want you to see a pattern here. 1 by 4 is half of 1 by 2. Aditya, today's MCD paper went very easy. That's great. So 1 by 4 is 25%, which is half of 1 by 2. Now, going further, 1 by 5, that will be equal to 20%. 20%. All right. Now, coming to 1 by 6. Now, 1 by 6, as you see, 1 by 6 basically half of 1 by 3. So, right, this will be 16.66%. 6 pe bar laga dunga because it keeps on repeating. Now we have 1 by 7. This is equal to 14.2857%. So it looks like 2857. This is so much. It also repeats 14.2857, and so on. I'll be discussing this. So I'll just put a star over here because this is going to blow your mind. Then we have 1 by 8, which obviously is half of 1 by 4. So this will be 12.5%. 1 by 9, that'll be equal to 11.11%. So basically put a bar on 1 because it keeps on repeating again. Right? Then comes 1 by 10. No prize for guessing this one. It'll be 10% only. 1 by 10 is 10%. Simple. So I'll just wait for 10 seconds so that you can write this all. 10 seconds, just tell me in the comments it's done. I'll count till 10. Rudrakshi, this is the first tool that we are doing. In DI tool, there'll be, see, these 4 things. Okay. So for now, you just start from here. The first thing you need to write is this. So first tool is percentage to ratios and ratios to percentages. Done. Written. Now I will write the remaining ones. 1 by 11. It's 9.09%, where 09 keeps on repeating, 9.0909 and so on. Then we have 1 by 12, which will be 8.33%. So 3 keeps on repeating. By the way, 1 by 12 is half of 1 by 6. All right. Nikhil, it'll be 25%, not 0.25. Now, next is 1 by 13. That is approximately equal to 7.7%. Approximately. It's actually 7.68. So I'm writing approximately 7.7%. This is not very important. 1 by 13. You rarely get any calculation with 13. 1 by 14 is half of 1 by 7. This will be equal to 7.14285 and so on. This keeps on repeating again. All right. Is that cool? So I will discuss this. When I discuss 1 by 7, I will listen to this. So for now, let's write 7.14%. Up to 3 decimal places. 1 by 15 will be equal to 6.66%. So just put a bar over 6. This 6.66. 1 by 15 happens to be 1/3 of 1/5. Oh, you're adding the fraction. 0.25%. So 25% is 1 by 4. Moving to 0.25, that means 2 decimal places more. So it'll be 1 by 400. Clear? Nikhil, 25% is 1 by 4. So 0.25 is 1 by 400. Put 2 decimal places. Okay. Now 1 by 615 has been done. The next one, 1 by 16, that is equal to 6.25%. Again, this is 1/4 of 1/4 or half of 1 by 8. 1 by 17 is approximately equal to 5.88%. All right, approximately. 1 by 18 is half of 1 by 9. That is 5.55%. Put a bar over 5. 1 by 19 is 5.26. And 1 by 20 is 5%. So there are certain patterns which you understand. Like 1 by 5 is 20. That means 1 by 20 is 5. I'm saying 5, writing 50. All right. So is this clear, everyone? This is something which is going to help you a lot. Now, how is it going to help you? I will discuss 5 to 6 different problems, quick problems, and you'll be able to understand that how is it's going to help you. All right. But before that, this is percentage ratios and vice versa. So these are the ratios from 1 by 1 to 1 by 20, which is very helpful. Now I'll be telling you, looking at the percentages, how to find the ratios. So let's say that a question involves a calculation for 27.5%. Now what you will do? 27.5%. So one way is like you write 27.5 and then divide by 100 and keep on canceling. This is going to take a lot of time. So it's better that you break this as 25% plus 2.5%. Now it should be, kind of, it comes to practice that how do you break it? So you'll be breaking it according to familiarity, like 25. So 25% and then 2.5%. So this is it. So 25% is 1 by 4 and 2.5 will be 1 by 40 automatically. Yes or no? If 25 is 1 by 4 and I put a point again, we need a 0 in the denominator. So this will be equal to how much? 11 by 40. All right, this is how we'll be calculating it. But by the way, they will never ask you what's the equivalent of 27.5%. This will be a part of calculation. So how the calculation will come in front of you, I'll just show the same example. So let's say you need to find out 27.5% of 240. Now, how will you do that? So this all can be done mentally once you can break this. So as you know, 27.5% is 1 by 4 plus 1 by 40. And what is 1 by 4? 1 by 4 of 1 by 40 is basically equal to 60. Because 4 60s are 240. And 1 by 40 will automatically become, so now if 1 by 4 is 60, 1 by 40 will be 6. Yes or no? So we get 66 and that's the answer. So don't even need to write 11 by 40 because I'm just showing this to you here. If you want to calculate, this is how you can do it in your mind. Right? Yes, Ankit, absolutely. You move from 1 by 1 to 1 by 20, the percentage value gets decreased. Nikhil, absolutely. 11 by 14 to 240 is the same thing. But all I'm saying is that you can do this mentally without even using your pen or paper. 1 by 4 and 1 by 14. Okay, now, so this is a very simple example. So let me give you a lot of examples like this. Okay, and that is how you will be able to understand how percentages can be converted into fractions. So let me go for one more example. Second example, let's say 93.75% of 1616. Now this looks pretty weird. Some people might use calculator if they have the access, otherwise they will do all those conventional things. Here, 93.75%. So there are multiple ways to break it. Some people will like to break it as 50 plus 43.75. So here you need to realize that 93.75% is close to 100%. It's close to 100%. And this thing is actually 6.25% less than 100%. Yes or no? There's something which you can just analyze, observe. 6.25, Rudrakshi, you wrote 7.5. That's wrong. Okay, so 100% minus 6.25%. Now, what is 100%? 100% of anything is that thing only. It's whole of it. So 100%, 1616, yahi ho jayega. And you need to subtract 6.25%. Now, 6.25%, if you remember, is equal to, here we have it, 1 by 16, right? So 1 by 16 is what we want to find out. 1 by 16 of 1616 is 101 only. And that's all. So we have 1515 as the final answer. Clear? So we can do that mentally. Yes, Nikhil, that comes with practice. And also telling you, when I took this, so I looked at 100%. So if something is close to 100, we try to look at how less is it. And if it is away from 100, let's say less than 50, then we try to break it as we broke 27.5. I'll be giving you more example and you will be able to get a better idea of it. Let's have one more example, example number 3. And here, let's say I want to calculate 55% of, let's say 28. 5% of 28. Now 55% is 50% plus 5%. Everybody can get it. What is 50%? Half. Half of 28 is 14. So if 50% is 14, 5% will be 1.4. That's all. If we add it, I get 15.4 as the final answer. Khatam ho gaya. See, this is cool, right? So if these kind of calculations can be done in your mind, it will be faster than even the calculator, because for the calculator, you need to click on the calculator button, it opens, then you put 5, then you write percentage, then you write multiplied by. So all that stuff will take 7 to 8 seconds. Here you can do this in 2 or 3 seconds, right? That is why it is important. I'll give you like 4 examples in a similar fashion. Anything else? Let's say if I want to calculate 67.5% of, let's say, 648. 67.5% of 648. What is 67.5%? How do we break it? There are multiple ways. One is like you can break it as 50 plus 17.5. Okay, so now coming to Nikhil, your question that how do you know what has to be used over here? 50% is something which we know, that is half. 17.5%, do we know the fractional equivalent? Not really. So I would like to break this 17.5% as 10% plus 5% plus 2.5%. Isn't this really cool here? So 50% is what? Half of 648, that is 324. But you can do mentally 64, half is 32, 324. Now 10% of anything is what? If you want to find 10% of anything, you just have to, I'll just put my camera off because I think it is blocking the view. So, right, is it blocking the view? Let me just see that. Okay, now I think it's fine. Is it fine now? All right. So, here we are. 10% of anything is basically what? You just put a point before that number. It's 1 by 10. So 648 ka 10% is 64.8. Now, the moment we have calculated 10% of something, its 5% will be half of 10%. That is half of 64.8 is 32.4. And 2.5 will be half of 5. Half of 5, right? That will be 16.2. And we add all of it. Is that clear? Right? Also, at the very same time, we can also look at it in this way, that this is 50% plus 12.5% plus 5%. Oh, Rakshi, absolutely true. So here I wanted to tell you that how 10% can be used. 10, 5, 2.5. This is absolutely true. 50% is half. Half of 648 is 324. 12.5% is 1 by 8. So 1 by 8 of this is 81. And 5% is like, if 50% is 324, 5% is 32.4. You add that and get the answer. Yes, Aditya, absolutely. It goes very easy. All of you got that? So it all comes with practice. And if you remember these, this table, it becomes pretty much obvious and in some cases commonsensical and also kind of intuitive, right? To use these things. Familiarity is increased. Clear? Now, I will tell you one more. Okay, let me give you one more example. Then I'll tell you one more rule here. Example number 5. Let's say I ask you something like 12.48% of 2,500. Okay, 12.48% of 2,500. Now here, you might be thinking that how to break this 12.48. So I'll keep quiet for 10 seconds. Let's see what you write in the comments. I'm counting till 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now 12.4% breaking it is kind of, very, very difficult. So what I'll do over here, I will do some nice technique. Tell me something. If I remove this point, and remove these 2 zeros, would that be fine? देखो रुद्राक्षी ने बोला 12.5 minus 0.2. रुद्राक्षी, instead of easing your life, you are complicating it further. Because 0.2% निकालना अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है, isn't it? आदित्य, तुम 10 plus 2.5 बोल रहे हो, गलत हो जाएगा because it should be 2.48. I want the exact value. Now what I did over here, 0.02. Yes, Rudrakshi will be challenged. So is it okay if I remove this decimal point? इसके बाद 2 digits हैं, 2 0 यहाँ remove हो जाएंगे. And then if I interchange this percentage, send it here, would this be same as 25% of 1248? And 25% is 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 of this is 312. And that's the answer. I'm pretty sure that your mind has gone into some kind of magical realization. You're like, oh, this is so, crazy cool, right? What I did here, I did some basic mathematics. It's like x% of y is same as y% of x. I just manipulate the value in such a way that you got the correct answer. Aditya, approximate to निकालना ही नहीं है. हमें निकालना है exact answer, accurate answer. Is that clear? Got it, all of you? Clear? ठीक है. So here we are done with to use this tool accurately. Now, there is a rule which is going to help you. The stream is not paused, Ankit. I was waiting for you to answer. Okay. The 10% rule. Okay. Now, what happens here in 10%, that if in some cases we cannot break the percentage, we are going to use this. This is going to help you a lot. Rudrakshi, one question more. You want to ask a question? You want me to give one question more? I'll give you by this 10% rule. Okay, so here, let's say I'm getting something really weird, like 13% of anything, let's say 248. Now we don't know what to do. So here I'll use 10% rule. Now, what is 10% rule? If you want to calculate 10% of anything, put a decimal point before the rightmost digit. Okay. If you want to calculate 5%, it will be half of 10%. If you want to calculate 1%, you need to put a decimal point before two rightmost digits. All right. 0.1% will basically be what? Put it on three rightmost digits. And so on. So basically, if you want to calculate 0.5%, you just have to take the half of 1%. Now, this is something which helps you in case you don't get any familiar percentage, you're going to use this. Is that clear? So 13%. Now, how do we use it? Because we don't know what to do over here. 13% is 10 plus 3 times 1. 10% is 24.8. Putting one decimal point. 1% is 2.48. And it's 3 times. Right. And we calculate that, get the answer. 24.8. 3 2s are 6. 7.44 is what I'm getting. Right. So let's add that and get the answer. Is that cool? Is that clear? All of you got that? Okay, Rudrakshi, wo bhi kar lete hain. Is this clear? The 10% rule. This is going to help you in case you are not able to find out any familiar percentage, right? Is that clear, everyone? Sure. Now, what Rudrakshi is asking, I'll just do that. She says 124% of 2,500. In this case, what I can do? Listen very carefully, very careful, very carefully. So 2,500% of 124, the intermediate step, and then 25% of 12400. It's the same thing, and we have solved it. So 1 by 4 of this is how much? 3,100, and that's the answer. Is that clear, Durakshi? And everybody else? 25 is what we know. So I remove those zeros and transfer them to 124 and percentage to the side. And then my life is sorted. Is that clear? Got it, all of you? Nice. So yeah. So before we move further, I'm giving you 10 quick problems and exactly 5 minutes so that you guys tell me the answers. Okay? So 10 quick problems. First is 99.5% of 400. Second is 32.5% of 888. Then we have 13.5% of 64. Then we have 48% of 2525. All right. Then we have one more. Let's say, what should I give you? 87.5% of 248. Then we have 92.5% of 350. Then we have, let's say, what should I give you? All right, 57% of, let's say, uh, 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 361. Now we have something like, let's say, 22.5% of, let's say, 1515. Then we have something like 77.5% of 44. And then we have 1025% of, let's say, 3248. Time starts now. I'll just put the timer on. By the way, you must have done something by now already. So this will be like how much? 5 minutes. I'll just put the timer here. Here we go. The timer starts and I'm going invisible. 5 minutes for you. All right. Wow. I can see Aditya has answered everything. Aditya, don't tell me you used calculator, did you? Chalo, let's do the first one. 99.5% of 400. Do it the best way. The thing is, this is basically if there is 100, we are selecting 99.5. That means we are making it 0.5 less. So if it's 100, we're making it 0.5 less. If it's 400, we'll make it 2 less. That means the answer becomes 398. Is that clear? Got it? Coming to the next one, 32.5%. This is 20 plus 12.5. 20 plus 12.5. Right? Right? 20% is 888 ka 20% is 1/5. Isn't it? So divide by 1/5, what do you get? 5 ones are 5, 5 sevens are 35, 35.6. That's what I get. And 12.5% is 1/8, that is 111. Let's add that and get the answer. We get 288.6. Clear? Aditya got this right. Very good, Aditya. Rudrakshi, got it? 13.5% is 12.5 plus 1. 12.5 is 1 by 8. 1 by 264 is 8 and 1% is 0.64. So answer is 8.64. 8.64. Okay. You wrote 8.46, Aditya. Just rectify that. 48% of 2525. Now here what I'm going to do. There are multiple ways. One is like 50% minus 2%. You can do that. 2525, can we do something else? Yeah, I can do that. I can write 2525 as 2500 plus 25 and shift the percentage over here and then write 48 over here. This will become really easy. Y plus 25% is 1/4. So 2500% is how much? 100 by 4. This is 1/4 already. Of what? Of 48. So 100 by 4, 4 12s are 48. 1200 plus 12. So I get 1212 here. Nice. Got this. Now next one, it is 1.5%. It is 1.5 is 12.5 less than 100. That means 1/8 less. 1 by 8 of 248 is how much? 8 3s are 24, 8 1s are 8. So here I get 217 as the final answer. Clear? Sixth, 92.5% of 350. Now 92.5% is what? 100% minus 7.5%, which is 100% minus 5% minus 2.5%. 100% is 350, all of it. 5% is what? Half of 10%. 10% rule we can use there. So 10% is 35. 5 will be half of it, that is 17.5. And 2.5 will be half of 17.5. Half of 17.5. That is 8.75. So we get 5, 2 here, 6, 1, 5, 6, 1, 7, and 2. 376.25 as the final answer. Clear? Is that understood, everyone? अच्छा minus करना है, मैंने add कर दिया. I'm so sorry. Minus and minus. So here we get how much? 5, 2, 1, 6, 1, 26.25. 350 से minus कर देना है. All right. So I get 0.75 here. 332. 323.75 is the answer. 323.75. Right. Coming to next one, 22.5% of 1515. I'm gonna erase everything else. 22.5 is 25 minus 2.5. Right. 25% minus 2.5%. So 25% is 1 by 4. We know that. So 1 by 4 of 1515 is what we need to calculate. That'll be 4 3s are 12. 3 gaya, 4 7s are 28. 4 3s are 12. 3 gaya, 4 7s are 28. 3 4 8s are 32.75 is what I get. And 2.5% will be 1 point और लगा दो. So you will get 37.875. All right. You need to subtract it and get the answer. Clear? The next one, 77.5% of 44. Again, multiple ways of doing it, right? इसमें अगर 22.5% निकाल के 44 का माइनस कर दो, 22.5%, again the same way. All right. So 25% minus 2.5. 44 का 25% is 11 minus 2.5. If you do, you will get 8.5, right? So 8.5 less than 44 will be the answer. That is 35.5. Is that clear? All of you got it? Clear? 25% minus 2.5. तो गलत लिखा है मैंने, थोड़ा मिटा दूं. I need some space here. 77.5% is basically 100% minus 22.5%. And this in itself is 25 minus 2.5%. 25% is 11 and 2.5 is 1.1. Yeah, this is correct. And this is 44 already. 44 minus 11 minus 1.1. 33, 32.9 is what you get. Right? Rudrakshi, yeah, I did that. Now 1025% of 3248. So here this is 1000% plus 25%. Now 1000% will be what? 32480. 10 guna. And 25 is 1/4 of it. 4 8s are 812. Let's add that and get the answer. Clear? 29233. 33292 will be the final answer. That's all. So by this time, you must have realized that how we are going to use this tool. Clear, all of you? I'll wait for 20 seconds so that everybody is on the same page and everybody absorbs the entire information. Cool. It's a great tool. Yes. Now coming to tool number 2. Tool number 2 is weighted averages. Very, very, very important. And first of all, let's understand what average is. What is average? All of you know that. Average is sum of observations upon number of observations. So what exactly happens? Let's say I want to add, I want to find the average of 25, 45, 35, 50, and let's say 75. What do? I add them all and then divide by 5. That is what the average means. But the moment the data is like this, let's say data is like 25, 25, 25, 35, 35. Now, here we can use the weighted average. How? We know that the frequency of 25 is 3 and 35 is 2. Right? So what I'm doing, I'll do it here. Instead of adding everything and dividing by 5, I'll just multiply 25 with 3 and 35 with 2, add them and then divide by 3 plus 2. Now you will say, तो obvious बात है, इसमें कौन सा बहुत बड़ा tool की बात हो गई? Tool अभी आएगा. But this is something which you need to understand. And what exactly are we going to do here? The most simplistic explanation of weighted average is this. So here, 3 is considered to be the weight of 25. What is weight? What is weight? The contribution of 25 in the average. And 2 is the weight of 35. Clear? So 75 plus 70 upon 5. What do I get? 145 by 5. Right? Right? 29 is the answer. This is weighted average. So we use the weights. Now, how do we use it as a tool? Let's understand that. So let's say I'm a shopkeeper and Rudrakshi comes to my shop and let's say I sell wheat, gehu, okay? So she comes to me and she's like, okay, sir, I want some wheat. I say, okay, cool. Tell me how much wheat do you want? She says, I want 10 kilograms of wheat. So I'm like, okay, I have 2 types of wheat, type A and that costs 50 rupees per kg. Do you want that? She's like, nahi sir, ye to now you will understand it, Aditya. So now she will say, no, no, मेरे को ना महंगा वाला चाहिए. मैं ठीक है महंगा देख लेते हैं. So I'm like, okay, I have one more type of wheat that is 75 rupees per kg. She's like, नहीं तो बहुत महंगा है, थोड़ा सस्ता चाहिए. अब तुम्हें चाहिए क्या बता दो मेरे को. So she's like, I want 60 rupees वाला wheat. So I'm like, okay, now I don't have that kind of wheat. What should I do? Should I let my customer go? I said, no, let me do something. Now I'll use that weighted average concept. So how to use that? I will just, because I'm a mathematician shopkeeper, I'll write 50 here, I'll write 75 here, and then she wants 60 rupees, I'll write 60 here. Then I'll try to find the difference crosswise. Here the difference becomes 10, here it becomes 15. I'm like, okay, 15 and 10. The ratio of 15 and 10 is 3:2. So now I know that if I mix three parts of type A with two parts of type B, it will cost me 60, right? So 10 kilogram ko 3:2 ratio में बांट दूंगा मैं. So I'll be getting 6 kilogram type A and 4 kilogram type B. I will mix it and give it to her and she'll be happy, I'll be happy. Is that clear? Okay, Ankit. Is that clear? And now, if you want to verify that, whether I have done it right or not, let's see. Let's check it out by using that weighted average. So 6 multiplied by 50 plus 4 multiplied by 75 upon 6 plus 4, this should be equal to 60. Is it? Let's see. 300 plus 300 upon 10. Oh, I'm getting 60. Now, this is the visual way of weighted average, also called as alligation. Is that clear? This is going to help you a lot. So this can be helped in all sorts of quantities. Here I use wheat. Essentially, here I am using the price and the mixture. 3:2 के रेशियो में रुद्राक्षी 3:2, 10 को 3:2 रेशियो बांट दो. 3/3 plus 2 into 10. 2/3 plus 2 into 10. Simple. There's one more way of doing it. पहले बताओ ये क्लियर हो गया, फिर मैं एक और तरीका बताऊंगा मन में ही करने का. मन में कर लेंगे, कुछ और नहीं करना होगा. Aditya, yes, allocation comes from weighted average only. Got that, Rudrakshi? Now I'll tell you one more way. 3:2. In the world of ratios, 3 and 2 add up to 5. In the real world, it was 10 kilograms. So 5 is 5 units of ratio or equivalent to 10 kilograms in the real world. That means 1 unit of ratio is equivalent to 2 kilograms of real world. So if 1 is equal to 2 kilograms, 3 will be equal to 3 into 2, that is 6 kilograms, and 2 will be equal to 2 into 2, that is 4 kilograms. Clear? Got that? This is how we use ratios to compare with the real world, because ratios are representative of real world only. We got the answer. Right? Clear? Looks good? That is allegation. Yeah, sure. I'll wait for a minute. Sure. Noted. Got it, all of you? Noted. Okay, cool. Now, this in allegation, there is one more thing which I saw once. Okay, so I reflected upon it and I got to know something real and interesting. In the same example, where 60 kilogram, 60 rupees per kilogram wheat was required by Rudrakshi. Rudrakshi don't mind, right? Or do you? If I take your example. Okay, so I'll take someone else's example. Okay, so 60, let's say it's Aditya. Now 60 is there, and I, the shopkeeper, that is I, in that case, I had two kinds of wheat, which were 50 and 75, I hope. Yeah, 50, 75, right? So it's 50 and 75. Now what I'll do, see, I'll write 50 here and 75 here. So when I wrote that, if you see, somehow I have made proper sense, the scale of it. The difference here between 50 and 60 is exactly 10, and between 60 and 75, it's actually 15. Is that right? That's the distance. This is going to help you a lot even in modulus based questions later in algebra. But for now, let's focus on this. 10 and 15. Is that right? The moment I get the distance, I will just reverse the distances. That means to have a proper balance. Do you understand that? Now, listen to me carefully. Let's consider it to be a seesaw where children sit, and they play the seesaw. And somewhere, if you want to find the average, I want the main shaft to be, what do you call, fulcrum in physics. Fulcrum to be in between, right? That is what average essentially means, isn't it? So let's say one child is heavier, other is lighter. Then would we actually shift the fulcrum? That is impossible. It is immovable. But let's say fulcrum was movable. What would we have done? Who will tell me that? You understand that? Let me write it again. This is a child. Okay. There's another child. Okay. So as you see, this one is 50 kilogram in weight. This one is 75 kilogram in weight. Okay. And they are playing on the seesaw. So seesaw to be, properly, if I want them to balance, it will never be balanced because fulcrum is always in the middle. So what will I do? Would I shift the fulcrum towards the 50 kilogram guy or towards the 75 kilogram guy? What do you think? Now this will make all the logical things, all the logical sense, and I'm pretty sure that you would not find something like that anywhere. It's purely based on imagination, creative imagination. Now tell me, just by, even if you don't know mathematics or physics or anything, just by simple logic, if I want to balance them and in the fulcrum पता है ना सीसॉ के नीचे, उसको मैं शिफ्ट करके अगर मैं बैलेंस करना चाहूं तो मैं किस बच्चे के पास रखूंगा, 75 किलोग्राम वेट वाले के पास या 50 किलोग्राम वेट वाले के पास? I'll try to put the fulcrum near 75 किलोग्राम वाला बच्चा. इसके पास अगर कम लेंथ होगी तो इसके वेट का इफेक्ट कम आएगा. दैट इज व्हाट वेटेड एवरेज. तो वेट मैंने यूज ही कर लिया, वेटेड एवरेज, राइट? समझ में आ गया? इसका मतलब ये है कि दूरी यहाँ 10 की है, यहाँ 15 की है, और अगर ये बीम पूरी की पूरी 15 फीट लेंथ की है, अगर अगर तो मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि यहाँ पे 10 फीट आ जाए और यहाँ पे 5 फीट आ जाए. इज दैट राइट? डू यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट? मैं उल्टा कुछ बोल रहा हूँ. 15 फीट नहीं, 25 रखना पड़ेगा. Okay, now it makes sense. So here I want it should be 10 feet. Here I would want it should be 15 feet. Would that make sense? Right? Do you understand that? देखो तो हुआ क्या? Initially it was 10, now it is 15. We have to just reverse it. Clear? और इससे हमारा एग्जैक्ट आंसर आ जाएगा. और अगर तुम लोग को याद हो, तुम लोग फिजिक्स नहीं पढ़ा रहा, बट फिजिक्स में बहुत अच्छी पढ़ाता हूँ. अगर वो 9th क्लास का बच्चा यहाँ पे है, अगर है तो तुम्हें याद होगा जब भी हम ऐसा लोड लगाते थे तो ये वाला वेट इंटू लेंथ शुड बी इक्वल टू ये वाला वेट इंटू लेंथ. 50 multiplied by 15 is same as 10 multiplied by 75. Wow. Did your eyes shine for a while if you remember even a bit of fundamental physics? Load into load arm equal to effort into effort arm. याद है? आ रही बात याद? कितना सिंपल है ये. 750 आ गया. और तुम्हें अगर ये भी याद हो कि अगर मान एक बार क्या बोला था आर्किमिडीज ने, आर्किमिडीज once said that give me a pulley long enough, right, and I will lift the entire earth. या और मैंने इलस्ट्रेशन ये है अर्थ बहुत लंबी पुली थी और यहाँ पे वो फलक्रम था और यहाँ पे आर्किमिडीज उस पे उठा रहे थे. तो you can even lift the earth, right? लोड इनटू लोड आर्म इज एफर्ट इनटू एफर्ट आर्म. तो अपने अगर इंसान मान लो 10 किलोग्राम न्यूटन फोर्स भी लगाएगा तो वो अगर लेंथ इतनी बड़ी हो जाए कि अर्थ के पूरे वेट के बराबर हो जाए, यू कैन लिफ्ट द अर्थ, राइट? सो दिस इज नाउ आई हैव गिवन यू इनफ लॉजिकल insight, logical, observational, scientific, each and everything. You will never forget this, or would you? You won't. अक्षय कुमार मीमोस, I think. अच्छा वो that movie was some movie, right? They were yeah. Okay. So did you get it, all of you? हर्ष, सुखी रहो, खुश रहो. तुमने पूरा देख लिया जो बताया मैंने अभी अभी. बहुत अच्छी बात बताई है. In case you have missed it, I would suggest you to go back 5 minutes and watch it. क्वेश्चन तुम कर लोगे, पता है मेरे को. Okay, now. So now we have done what? We have done two tools already. This and this. Now coming to approximations. Before approximations, I would like to go for slope and then I'll come to approximations. स्लोप देखते हैं कि ये लाइन ग्राफ में खास करके काफी काम आता है. तो इसमें ऐसा है कि you have a y axis and an x axis. This is how data in line graphs, bar graphs, etc. will be represented. So in data interpretation, there can be multiple kind of representations. The most common being line graphs, bar graphs, histograms, column graphs. Then we have pie charts, scattered plots. Last year, I think Ankit was there. Aditya, I don't know you were there or not, but Ankit, do you remember? I was discussing when I was taking the CAT marathons last year. I was discussing about what was I was discussing? I said that there is high possibility that this year in CAT spider diagram will be there, spider chart. याद है? और अगले दिन देखा कि वही स्पाइडर चार्ट 3 में से 2 स्लॉट्स में आ गया था. एक में था कि 2 में याद नहीं आ रहा, पर 2 एक में तो कम से कम था, शायद 2 में आ गया था. Do you remember that spider web representation? Because I was thinking that this time they will do something with it, but that is for a different time altogether. For now, ऐसे याद रहेगा रुद्राक्षी? Exactly. Now, so y and x. So what I'll do for the normal familiar representations, it's like when the line graph, bar charts. In bar charts, this happens. This is the column charts. Bar chart तो horizontal होता है, लेकिन लोग इसको bar बोल देते हैं, पता नहीं कि it's column chart basically. So here also this thing works. How? Because if I join the midpoints of all of it, right? So I'll get a line only. Line graph. Line graph में clearly दिखाई देता है. स्पाइडर वाला क्वेश्चन स्लॉट 3 में था. हाँ, तो यहाँ पे क्या करेंगे इसको समझने के लिए? So let's say this is the chart and I have a line which goes like this. then like this, then again like this. Okay. And now I can see, let's say this is the first, this is the second, this is the third line. I can see clearly that 1 and 3, they have same slopes. Okay, थोड़ा सा ऊपर नीचे हो गया होगा, रफ ड्राइंग कर रहा हूं मैं, बट अगर सेम स्लोप्स हैं, और क्वेश्चन बोला गया कि व्हाट इज द which where, अच्छा एक और कर देते हैं यहाँ पे, लेट्स से दिस इज 2000, this is 2001, and this is 2002. So if they ask year on year, which year showed the highest growth in terms of percentage, in whatever, in rate of growth or whatever. So when slopes are same, what is slope essentially? Slope is rate only. Slope is rate. Okay. But the moment we calculate the rate year on year, that means the previous base was also very important. Right. So here, even if it looks like 1 and 3 have the same growth, their rate of growth is not same. Year on year rate of growth is not same. Why? Because you don't have to even consider कि इसका data यहाँ पे क्या था, यहाँ पे क्या था, यहाँ क्या है, यहाँ क्या है. We don't really think about that. But think about, even if the growth is same, the lower base was here when compared to this, isn't it? This is lower. तो अगर lower base पे कोई growth होगी और वही growth higher base पे होगी, the absolute growth, then the effect of growth will be higher on the lower base, right? I'll give you one more example. Let's say the person who is 6 feet tall. देखो बहुत ही लॉजिकल करेंगे, ज्यादा चीजों को बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेट कर देते हैं दुनिया और किताबें, इसको सिंप्लीफाई करते हैं. लेट्स से दो लोग हैं, एक 6 फीट का और एक 5 फीट का, और कोई दवाई बेचने आ गया. आदित्य ने बोला कि देखो मैं हूं जादूगर, और मैं क्या करता हूँ, जादुई दवाई है मेरे पास, जो इसको पीता है उसकी हाइट 6 इंच बढ़ जाती है. तो मुझे एक बात बताओ, अगर 5 फीट और 6 फीट वालों के बाकी कंडीशन सब कुछ सेम, मतलब उनमें बराबर पैसा हो, तो कौन सा आदमी ज्यादा पैसा देना चाहेगा आदित्य को, 5 फीट वाला या 6 फीट वाला? टेल मी. तो कितना सिंपल है. मैथमेटिक्स इज नथिंग बट एम्पेरिकल फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ फिलोसफी. दैट्स इट. पीपल अंडरस्टैंड फिलोसफी समटाइम्स, वो भी नहीं, आरसी में उसकी भी क्लास करेंगे, बट फिलोसफी इज लाइक एवरीबडी नोज दैट, यू आर एजुकेटेड और नॉट, यू नो भगवान ऊपर होगा, शैतान धरती के अंदर होगा, बुरा करने से बुरा नतीजा मिलता है, अच्छा करने से अच्छा फल मिलता है. सिंपल फिलोसफी एवरीबडी अंडरस्टैंड्स. मैथमेटिक्स इज बेसिकली द एम्पेरिकल फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ फिलोसफी. तो ये बात समझने के लिए किसी को ना रेट ऑफ ग्रोथ की जरूरत है, ना स्लोप की, ना डीआई की, ना मैथमेटिक्स की. हर कोई बोलेगा यार 5 फीट वाला आदमी ज्यादा पैसे देने को रेडी रहेगा. क्यों? ये 5 फीट आदमी पे 6 इंच की ग्रोथ, 6 इंच की ग्रोथ का इफेक्ट बहुत ज्यादा है 6 फीट के आदमी से. यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट? मतलब 10% ग्रोथ हो गई उसकी हाइट में, 5 फीट से 5.5 हो गया वो. ठीक है, ग्रीड की बात छोड़ देते हैं. आई एम सेइंग एवरीथिंग एल्स रिमेनिंग कांस्टेंट. So what does that mean? The higher rate growth is in 2001, not in 2002. You understand that? This is how we will be using slopes. Clear? All of you got that? Now the problem is, अगर मान लो स्लोप यहाँ पे ऐसा है, फिर ऐसे है, और फिर स्लोप थोड़ा सा कम बढ़ा है, तो हम कैसे कंफर्म करेंगे? या फिर ऐसा भी नहीं, लेट्स सी, पहले कम बढ़ा है, फिर ऐसा हुआ है, और फिर उसके बाद ऐसा हो गया. सो वी कैन सी क्लियरली that in the third instance slope is greater than the first instance. But at the same time, would we know just by looking at it? Not really. Here we'll look at the base also. And because we look at the base, here comes the third DI tool, that is approximations. Approximation पे बात करेंगे अब हम लोग. Do you understand that? Slope समझ में आ गया. Now coming to approximation. Approximation comes into play when slope alone is not sufficient to answer the question. We go for approximations. Clear? Let's go for approximations, guys. कैसे करेंगे approximations? करते हैं. So what happens in approximations? Let's say I have, एक कुछ बातें तो नोट कर लो हमेशा के लिए. पहला, 1/2 is less than 2/3, is less than 3/4, is less than 4/5, and so on, जहां तक भी जाओगे हमेशा ऐसा हो. At the very same time, if I reverse it, 2 by 1 will always be greater than 3 by 2, greater than 4 by 3, greater than 5 by 4, and so on. In a way, I can write A by B will be less than A plus K upon B plus K, will be less than A plus 2K upon B plus 2K, and so on, if A is less than B. मतलब ये एक proper fraction है. Fourth, A by B will be greater than A plus K upon B plus K, greater than A plus 2K upon B plus 2K, and so on, if it's an improper fraction. That means A is greater than B. Note this first of all. I'll wait for a minute. Note it. अच्छा. जो थर्ड वाला है इसका एक और बनेगा. फिफ्थ, A by B will be greater than A minus K upon B minus K. When you subtract, the reverse happens. A minus 2K upon B minus 2K. Again, if A is less than B. It's the same thing. I don't think you need to cram it up. This is all logical. And sixth is kind of related to fourth one. A by B will be less than A minus K upon B minus K, less than A minus 2K upon B minus 2K, and so on if A is greater than B. All right. These six things you need to remember always. All if you got that, जल्दी से comment, like, कुछ करो फटाफट. Written. Now, let's do a few things more. So let's say I have 3 by 7 and I have, let's say, 5 by 9, and I ask you which one is greater. How do you know that? कौन बताएगा? Which one is greater? There are multiple ways of doing it, right? But here I can clearly see the gap is 4 units. Horizontal gap is 4 units. Vertical gap is 4 units. Horizontal is 2 units. So what is happening? This is a proper fraction. And if it's a proper fraction and same growth is there, it becomes greater. Clear? So 3 by 7 is basically lesser than 5 by 9. All of you understand that? No problem. Do you understand that? Yeah, right. तो एक देखते मालूम पड़ गया. और भी तरीके हैं. 3/7 की परसेंटेज वैल्यू निकाल लो, टाइम वेस्ट कर लो, दैट यू नो योर विश. एक होता है क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई. बचपन में सीखा था कि 9 को 3 पे ले जाओ, 7 को 5 पे ले जाओ, 27 हो गया, 35 हो गया तो छोटा हो गया. ये भी तरीका एक है, अच्छा तरीका है. ये क्यों होता है? क्योंकि हम एलसीएम, क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई नहीं होता बेसिकली, ये एलसीएम ले रहे होते हैं. बचपन में सोचता था मैं ये क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई कर कैसे रहे. बाद में समझ में आया कि एलसीएम लिया जा रहा है. इसको 7/7 से मल्टीप्लाई किया गया और इसको 9/9 से मल्टीप्लाई किया गया, और ऐसे करने से ऊपर आ गया 27, नीचे 63, यहाँ 35, यहाँ 63, एंड नाउ वी नो दैट इज व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग, राइट? Rudrakshi, did you with this? Okay, now we don't need to more. Let's say I want to compare 3 by 7 and 7 by 7 by 8. 3/7 है और मान लो मैं कंपेयर करना चाहता हूँ इसको 4/9 से. 4/9. Now which one is greater? Who will tell me that? जो मैं तुम्हें यहाँ बताने वाला हूँ सुन के तुम्हें मजा आ जाएगा, और इसका एप्लीकेशन होगा एज वाले प्रॉब्लम्स पे क्वांट के अंदर। जल्दी ही करने वाला हूँ मैं, और तुम बोलोगे कि यार ये तो बहुत कमाल की चीज है, बहुत मजा आने वाला है। 4/9, हाउ डिड यू डू दैट? एक मस्त चीज सिखाऊं? यू वांट टू नो? मजा आ जाएगा लाइफ में। देखो, we know this, right? I discussed this, the horizontal values. Now I'm gonna show you something real quick. रुद्राक्षी क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई कर रही होगी, दो है यहाँ पे, अगर बहुत सारी चीजें होंगी तो प्रॉब्लम होगी। आई शो यू समथिंग रियल क्विक। सी, व्हाट्स द वर्टिकल गैप हियर? It's 4. What's the vertical gap here? It's 5, right? And the moment I get the same horizontal gap, my life will be sorted because I know that those rules, yes or no? So I want to have the same horizontal gaps, which I don't have here because 3 plus 1 is 4, 7 plus 2 is 9. What to do? To have the same horizontal gaps, now you'll be surprised to know the moment I equate the vertical gaps, horizontal gaps become same automatically. अब ये कैसे हो सकता है? यहाँ 4 है, यहाँ 5 है, तो मैं अगर इसको पूरे को 5 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दूं और इसको 4 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दूं, तो गैप विल बी 20। So if I want to multiply the gap with 5, I need to multiply this whole by 5 each. So 5 3s are 15, 5 7s are 35. Here, multiply by 4 each, 4 4s are 16, 9 4s are 36. I can see now the horizontal gap is same. Wow, the horizontal gap is same. My life is sorted. Now I know this will be less. And that's all. This is going to help you in age-related problems. मैं बता रहा हूँ ये तुम्हें कहीं भी नहीं मिलेगा जल्दी, सिवाय उन जगहों के जहां मैंने खुद पढ़ाया है, जहां मेरे पढ़ाए हुए स्टूडेंट्स पढ़ा रहे हैं। अब मैं थर्ड जनरेशन टीचर हो चुका हूँ, मेरे पढ़ाए हुए लड़कों के लड़के पढ़ा रहे हैं आजकल कैट को। मतलब मेरी उतनी एज नहीं है, लेकिन मैं बहुत कम उम्र से पढ़ा रहा हूँ। ओके, 18-19 साल की उम्र से। तो मेरे पढ़ाए हुए लड़के के लड़के जब पढ़ा रहे होंगे तो हो सकता है वो ये चीज पढ़ा दें, अदरवाइज यू वोंट फाइंड एनीवेयर। साउंड्स लाइक फ्लेक्सिंग? या आई एम। वेल, यू गॉट दैट? It's going to help you in approximations. I'll tell you more things for approximation, which will make a proper sense. चलो देखते हैं। Now, let's see. Let's say कुछ ऐसा हो गया, 19/63 कहीं पे आ गया, कंपेयर करना है हमें। तो हमें देखना है कि अब ये वैल्यू आ गई है इन टी आई, यू विल गेट ऑप्शंस, विच ऑप्शन इज करेक्ट? ओके, इधर यूज द कैलकुलेटर and end up wasting time. You should use calculator if the options are very close, but if not, we'll use approximation. It's going to help you a lot. Approximations. How do we do approximations? The best way is the 10% rule, which I already told you. And now everything will come a full circle. You will realize that what we are doing here. Okay. 63 cut 10% is basically 6.3. All right. It's 6.3. Cool. Now I will see that 6.3 से 19 कितने बार है? 6 3s are 18 होता है, 3 बार करूंगा अगर मैं तो 18.6 आ जाएगा। मतलब ये हुआ कि 18.6 अगर होता, this would have been 30%, right? Now if I look at the options, if I have an option that is 30 point something, that will be my correct option. Let's say I have 4 options like 30 point something, what to do? I'll go for calculator, I'll use more, more of my brain. How to do that? I have reached 18.6. Now to reach 19, I need 0.4 more, right? I need 0.4 more. Does that make sense? 0.4. Here I have 6.3. 10% is 6.3. That means 1% will be 0.63. Isn't it? मुझे 0.4 तक पहुंचना है। 1% is 0.63. 0.5% will be 0.315. उससे ज्यादा है, तो आंसर हमारा 30.5 और आगे कुछ और भी आना चाहिए, राइट? डू यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट? कितना और आना चाहिए? मेरे पास 0.085 और आना चाहिए। हालांकि देखो, मैं जितना बता रहा हूँ उतना इतने में सॉल्व हो जाएगा। पर बता रहा हूँ कि बहुत, मान लो बहुत ही कोई एग्जामिनर ऐसा है मेरी तरह का, वो चाहता है कि तुम बर्बाद हो जाओ सॉल्व करते करते, तो मैं बहुत गंदा फिर बनाऊंगा। 30.1, 30.12, 30.21 ऐसे ऑप्शन डाल दूंगा, ठीक है ना? तो अगर वैसा कोई एग्जामिनर आ जाए जो चाहता है कि लोग बर्बाद हो जाएं करते करते, तो उनके लिए बता रहा हूँ वो कहाँ तक पहुंचेंगे। हालांकि इतने में आंसर आ जाएगा। तो 0.085 और, अब 0.085 और चाहिए, तो 6.3 का 3 टाइम्स 18.6 था, मुझे याद है, ठीक है? 0.61% था और उसका 0.5 0.31 था। अगर मैं इसका भी हाफ करता हूं तब भी मेरे पास 0.1 होता है, मैं उसका भी हाफ करता हूं तो 0.05 होता है। तो अल्टीमेटली क्या होगा? 0.5 का हाफ इज 0.25, उसका भी हाफ इज 0.125। आर यू गेटिंग इट? आर यू गेटिंग इट? आई नीड 0.085 मोर। 0.085, 63 का कितना हो सकता है? 0.1 से हल्का सा ज्यादा। 0.1 से हल्का सा ज्यादा, 0.2 नहीं होगा, 30.51 आना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये डेसिमल के बाद 2 डिजिट्स के ऊपर तो नहीं आएगा। इससे भी गंदा एग्जामिनर हो गया जो कि कैट अलाउ ही नहीं करता, तो 3 डिजिट तक जाएंगे, वहां तक जाओगे नहीं, तो सुखी रहो, इतने में आंसर आ जाएगा। इज दैट क्लियर? द 10% रूल इज गोइंग टू हेल्प यू अलॉट, एंड यू विल बी थिंकिंग सर इससे बेटर कैलकुलेटर ही यूज कर लेते। मैं बोलता हूँ आपकी मर्जी, आप कर लो, लेकिन एक बात क्लियर बता रहा हूँ कि अगर तुमने 500 सेट्स ऑफ DI कैट एग्जाम के पहले सॉल्व कर लिए, और ये चीज जो बता रहा हूँ कर लिया, तुम 100 सेट के बाद 100 फर्स्ट सेट, 100 फर्स्ट सेट में ये चीज तुम मेंटली करना शुरू कर दोगे। सो दैट इज व्हाट वेयर आई वांट टू टेक यू। I cannot increase the number of seats at IIMs, but I'll make sure the cutoff increases due to my students. So just be proud of it, and just go and win that world. You have to be really aggressive in this. Let's keep on doing hard work as much as possible. So that is all about DI tools. Now we'll be going on to puzzles, which will give you enough uh, logical thought process to deal with logical things, right? Clear? Let me give you one more example before we move on there. One more example. मान लो एक और एग्जांपल दे देते हैं, कुछ ऐसे ही गंदा सा नंबर। लेट्स से वी हैव 27 अपन, आई एम जस्ट थिंकिंग, कुछ भी मैं लिख रहा हूँ, मैंने जो मना लिख रहा हूँ, सोच भी नहीं रहा हूँ। 27/35। Now what I'll do? What I'll do? I'll see that this guy is how much less? It's 8 less. 8 less. So either I can go for 10% and then do all that stuff, or I can just try to find 8. Yeah, Rashi, we are doing that with this. So I want to go 8 less than 35. 8 less than 35. What is 10% of 35? It's how much? It's equivalent to 3.5. Ankit, I'm going to give you a break for 10 minutes after this. Then we will start with logical puzzles. You can go then. So 20% is 7, exact 7. I need one more. One more. So 10% is 3.5. तो इसका 1/3 कर दूंगा, अगर मैं 1/3 कर दूंगा, मान लो मैं इसका 3.33% करूँ, तब भी 1 के आसपास आएगा, right? If I take 1%, that'll be equivalent to 0.35. If I take 3%, it'll be equivalent to 1.05. ठीक है ना? 0.15, तो 23% से हल्का सा कम है। इट इज लाइंग बिटवीन 22% एंड 23%, राइट? एंड क्लोजर टू 22%। तो 35 से 22 पॉइंट समथिंग परसेंट कम, मतलब आंसर 77 पॉइंट समथिंग आएगा, 78 के पास, 77.8, 77.9, समथिंग लाइक दैट। इज दैट क्लियर एवरीवन? गॉट इट? 77.8, 77.9 ऐसा कुछ नंबर आ जाएगा। क्लियर? Enlightening things? Tell me, and then you will have a break, because I know your mind is totally overwhelmed with this. Hey Anna, good evening. You are late, joined 9:40, went back to watch from the beginning, just caught up with the live stream. Perfect. You came at the right time. I'm going for a break now for 10 minutes. The reason is simple because, this is a lot of overwhelming things have happened here. And now we'll be going to from DI to purely logical things. So that needs your brain reset. So let's have a break of 10 minutes. What did I do after losing 3%? Okay. See, रुद्राक्षी 7 तो आ ही गया था, 1 और चाहिए ना 8 बनाने के लिए. This is 7 plus 1. I'm getting 1.05. So 23% is something which will give me 8.05. But I need 8 only. So 23% से कम, थोड़ा सा कम, थोड़ा सा कम 8 की वैल्यू है. तो 35 से 23% थोड़ा कम कर दोगी तो आंसर 77 पॉइंट समथिंग ही आएगा. That will be your answer. Cool. That's all. So it's 10:22.